Emotional damage.
Thank you. That's awesome. Hey, guys.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yo,
It's not been a minute because we've been on it.
Yeah, we have.
Heck yeah.
Welcome back to the Real
Try not to
Guys.
mess with this again, but I can't see Anthony's beautiful greenish blue hazel eyes.
Sometimes
What
they're
color
not.
eyes are they, man?
It's a mix.
Mixed? Oh, you're mixed.
Yeah.
He's got Frankenstein eyes.
He
I
does,
do.
actually.
That's why he has a seam down the middle of his...
Wait.
That's right.
What? Seam going down what?
That's right. All right, guys.
I'm not gonna. Not off the start.
No.
All right, so things are heating up.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
So
Pun intended. Speaking of which, Biden was cracking a joke.
Yeah, he did.
That was
Yeah, like
inappropriate.
at a press conference when he was looking at Kamala and he was handing the mic over to Kamala and he's like, fire away. No pun intended.
No
And they
pun
both
intended.
Everybody in the room was like, there's no effing way that
Oh,
you just said that.
While like,
And he's like, guess what?
yeah.
I did.
This
I
was
think
the-
like he
The
just...
day after,
doesn't
right?
care.
The day after was so
It
weird.
was very,
Yeah.
very close. It was way
Yeah.
too soon.
Yeah.
I think he's like one of those like 2 weeks, put in your 2 weeks, you could just care less at this point.
Just say whatever you want.
Sign in whatever.
I think
He kinda
they,
was.
They do say that about old people, that as they're having cognitive decline, that like if they didn't used to curse, they'll start cursing. Just
Mhm.
like a lot of
Yeah.
filters are gone.
They're just
Clearly.
whatever.
Yeah.
That's crazy though.
And this is all about the fires over in Los
California.
Angeles and
My butt's been
California.
wiped.
And it's
Dude, it's really
Horrible.
sad that because of video game, I understand the destruction.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Grand Theft Auto.
I mean, when
really
you
helped me out,
understand
yeah.
the scale of how accurate that is, and all of that past the mountain is cleared out.
But how also
Yeah.
big of an area too that's burning?
oh, it's like
And
how
you
much?
know, you've been there.
40,000 acres have been
Some
burned
eyes,
already.
some crazy.
Like
yeah.
that's
40. Yeah, I think it was a lot more.
yeah. It
But
was
how
like,
hot?
well, it's still
It's a ton.
burning.
It's a ton.
Well, right now, as of like last night, only 18% of that fire has been contained.
Yeah, there's our
Mhm.
answer.
Yeah.
We knew some was contained.
Just one.
No way.
Just one.
Well, there's like,
like
3 or 4 separate fires
There's
that
7.
will eventually
there's 7 fires.
meet if they don't
Yeah.
contain them. Oh, 7?
There's 7
Okay.
fires. Each one is like under 20% contained.
Well, it's cool because
It's
they
like-
could have more fire trucks and stuff, except California won't let in people who want to help because of emissions.
I
That
thought
is
that was a
insane.
joke. So he sends me that, right? Or sends it to the group. And I'm like, there's no way. Let me research this.
Yeah.
There's documentation between chiefs of fire departments, departments of labor,
Yeah.
even in Canada,
yeah.
some of their aircraft, that essentially there's, I don't know if it's hundreds, but it's over 10
Mm-hmm.
vehicles were not allowed, firefighting vehicles that were equipped with water already.
Mm-hmm.
He drove down from Oregon. This is what I heard, directly from Oregon to California to help this, and they were stopped because they couldn't pass the smog test.
Yeah.
So what the heck are you breathing with all this? You're worried about smog, and you have burned gases everywhere.
Billions
from
of
this?
dollars
Yeah.
of damage
Well, you
going
can't
on.
even see the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they
Come on, man.
Newsom, he could turn that off in an instant.
State of emergency.
He can just say it. Listen, everybody's welcome right now.
State of emergency.
But-
You can put articles in there that allow you to kind of do whatever for that moment.
Yeah.
For the most point.
But I'm going to go over like one little thing just for the size comparison, right?
Yeah.
The Chicago fire was a pretty big fire back in
Yeah.
the day.
Yeah. It was.
It's in history books, whatnot. That whole fire only burned 2,560 acres. Only.
But that was mainly.
It's in a city.
That was city.
Yeah.
Urban, more urban. Obviously, you have the mountains,
Yeah.
and then
The Palisades fire has burnt 16,000 acres just in itself and has destroyed thousands of homes.
Yeah.
wow, dude,
Thousands.
that's crazy.
Like, it's like, I mean, everything. Schools,
Hospitals.
hospitals,
Well, you know what?
stores, everything.
The
Historic
Palisade
buildings.
one, that's the reservoir that was completely empty. I don't know if it was under construction, it was out of service,
Yeah.
but it was completely dry.
Yep. Just
And
dry.
there was a guy who went on. It may have been Fox News. No, it was Joe Rogan. It was Joe Rogan. Same thing.
Yeah.
At this
Yeah.
point. And he was talking about how he was high up in the fire department of L.A., and he said, it is a miracle that we have not had a fire that has gone from the mountains to the coast and wiped everything out. Conditions are right. It just somehow we catch it, but, everything's so dry. There's not enough resources, the terrain, and we don't have the backing of infrastructure for the water to be redumped.
Yeah,
So,
that was a fire chief or fire captain from Los Angeles.
Yeah, I saw
This was
that.
like a few years ago he said this, and which is just insane for this guy to say, like, listen, we're just lucky
Yeah,
When
lucky
it's
at
going to
this
be
point.
that's going to be the perfect storm.
And
That's
he
what it
started
was.
talking about the politics of it, like how DEI was a problem, which, I feel like you could throw that at anything while it's inactive, but you have was the assistant fire or deputy fire chief
Fire
of
chief.
L.A.
Yeah.
Larson. She was talking, she, whatever, was talking about how I want to, you want to have someone who responds to a fire who looks like you, so that you know what you all have been through together, and that you don't, what happens if my husband's in a fire and needs help? Well, he got himself in the wrong place, didn't he?
When I heard
what?
that,
Yeah.
I was
What
like,
are you kidding me, bro?
It's crazy.
So you
That is-
discriminate?
I can tell you, if I was flipped over in the side of the road in my truck, I could care less if a
Yeah.
group of midget firefighters
Yeah,
came.
but that Toby's not
as
going
long
to do it,
as
dude. She ain't going to
somebody
he's
showed
grabbing
up,
me, yeah.
and I would say
Yeah.
thank you to them.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
it doesn't matter.
Thank you for
Yeah.
pulling me out of this burning wreckage.
But not
You could
even
ask for my
trying.
number, and I'm like, I'm straight,
Yeah.
and you could really press the point, and
Yeah.
I'd still be thankful.
Yeah, that's the most
You can make
insane
it
thing I've heard in a
uncomfortable.
while.
You could really, you could touch me, and
could
I would
go
still
ahead.
be like, you know what, we can't do this, but
yeah,
I thank you for
just
saving
for
my
the
life.
next 5 minutes.
yeah.
But that's the thing, when you have DI and you have hirees who, that's their mindset is, I'd rather someone respond, dude, I don't care. Can you get there and do what you need to do to save me?
That's the
and my
whole.
property?
Like, I think that's everybody's kickback with the whole DEI thing. Like, I'm of the belief, like, I don't really care what you do in your personal life, what you believe in, what the
Yeah.
color of your skin
You said
is.
that.
If you're the right
Mhm.
person for the right job, that's who gets it. Like, I don't think
Yes.
anybody should be put in a position just because of a certain belief
Mhm.
or what they look like.
Or largely because of that.
Yes.
Right.
It shouldn't,
Yes.
yeah.
Right.
I don't even know that I would have an issue if you had two capable candidates that were of the same measure, and then going with something because you feel like, hey, like, we're not even here.
Yeah.
I
Do
don't
we
have a
know a
problem
lot
with that.
about that
Mhm.
deputy chief? Like, what's her, like, was she appointed? Did she work her way up through the ranks? Like, what's the deal with
And
I-
she's not in good shape,
No.
Yeah.
So
and I don't. It is a she, I think.
It's
Yes.
kind of like two.
yes, I
It's like
forgot
Nike.
when, but the 3 leaders of the Los Angeles Fire Department, like the whole fire system, they were appointed because of DEI. Fully
Yeah.
because DEI. They wanted
Yeah.
diversity in the workplace.
The female that, like, dude, no, I mean, how many females
was
are
just- yeah.
firefighters? And I'm fine with them being firefighters.
Oh no, this isn't.
But-
No, it's just
How
When
many-
they're trying
the
to-
head chief is a female. She was talking about how the city failed them
Oh, yeah.
and
Yep.
didn't have the water in the hydrants and got pressed on the issue and
Oh, yeah.
and bombed the mayor and everyone.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's what happens. I mean, the individual here was a fire assistant chief, whatnot, and
Yeah.
the phrase or what she said was, "He got himself in the wrong place. If I have to carry him out of the fire." So
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah,
That's
if
the
I have to
that's
carry
the,
this person at all in the
crazy
wrong
Yeah,
place,
like
I'm
you
Larson.
couldn't just be asleep in your bed and pass out from smoke inhalation.
dude.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
in general, like, who, you got yourself in a situation. I get it. Like, I don't care if some dude's high on heroin, passed
Yeah.
down on the couch. It's my job to save that life
No,
Mm-hmm.
and the property.
no matter how many times you've done it in the past.
No matter
week.
how many Narcans we've gone through.
Yeah.
So
And what's really bad about these specific hires
Crazy.
is they had an agenda to actually change the workforce of the firefighter system completely in LA to that.
Yeah,
well, they
So they
didn't they
wanted-
let go thousands.
for the.
I don't
COVID.
think it was 2,000 people. I think it was 1,000 plus firefighters
Yes.
were let go.
because they didn't get the vaccine.
And
Was
I-
a majority of
Was
them.
it? I
Yeah.
thought it was-
Hundreds were let go because they did not get the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just making
Um,
cuts otherwise.
Yep, these
Yeah.
were just
making cuts.
firefighters. Yep.
And they said, I watched how I think it was the mayor was saying, no, there was water in the hydrants. And the fire chief is like, which is also a female, goes, I mean, these are all females for whatever reason, says, well, yeah, there was no water in the fire hydrants. Well, and then there was the lady who's also a female, who's over the Department of Water. And she's saying nervously in front of everyone,
Yeah.
she said, we couldn't get, the water was in the reservoir and is there, but we can't get it to the hydrants in a fast enough pattern or time for
Yeah.
what would that be? The volume that is being used, we cannot replenish, is what she was trying to say. And
Which is so
I don't know if
crazy
that
to
was
me.
true.
Which
Well-
is so crazy to me because LA has some of the busiest houses in the country as far as like
wealth.
fire departments.
And
Mhm.
wealth.
Well, no, I'm talking about like firehouses, right?
Oh, like you mean they're
Yes.
Like they're like every
Well, they better
station's
be.
constantly running, and
They
then
really
for them
are.
to make cuts. Same thing with
Yeah.
like New York City and
Oh
Chicago.
my
Last
gosh.
last time I was in
New
LA, I mean it is a constant.
Oh,
From the
they're
police
running
to the
always,
fire.
dude.
I mean it is like they're never home,
Paramedics.
but they're making so much money.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
insane.
but they're making cuts like that, and it's like, okay, well, we have like,
Well, so I'm going to address the three people, right? We're talking about the heads of the.
there's at least I wasn't even thinking of that. I was thinking DEI hires, but like
No,
3 females in what would be largely male positions.
The only. So
Yeah.
the
All of it.
fire chief of the LAFD, the whole thing, the actual fire chief, has a salary of $440,000 a year. Is the first LGBTQ hire.
Oh, so the head chief that we were talking that was blaming.
No, this is someone else. This is the head.
Okay.
This is the head.
it'd be the
so many
commissioner,
heads.
right?
The
It'd
commissioner,
be the
yeah,
fire
yeah.
commissioner.
Oh, okay.
The next one is the assistant chief. The assistant chief
That's
was
Larson.
hired
That's Larson.
for being a lesbian.
Yeah, she's the one that said carry
And
the
the
fire
third-
the guys out. Yeah.
Was another lesbian for equity, and that was the bureau chief for the LAFD.
How many chiefs do they have?
Well, it's
it's
different. Assistant bureau. This
Then
that.
each house
but
has a chief, and
Right.
now it's not like
Captains. Oh my gosh, can you imagine
Yeah.
how many? Captain. Like walk around sleep.
I've done business with companies that like they've got like, you know, each department has a manager and then
Yeah.
an assistant manager and then an assistant supervisor,
Yeah.
and a supervisor's assistant, and then production. You know, and it's just like, dude, like
Yeah.
we don't need these many chiefs, man. This is
we
how
had
stuff's getting
corporals and
jacked up.
sergeants, and
Yeah.
it was
Now-
too small to have, I think, a corporal. Maybe
Right.
just a
one
sergeant.
thing to push real quick. We're not saying that they're not able to do the job.
No,
Yeah.
But-
we're just realizing it's super saturated.
No, it's
and
not just.
pressed.
But it's like, think about it like this. You know, LA hired individuals based on what and who they were, not what they capable of doing.
Sure.
And because of that, they are changing the dynamic of the firefighter force completely. Like
Which
they
is-
want to change
yeah.
40% of the force into a DEI hire in any regard,
I don't know if there's enough of that in the world, man.
just to
out
make
of
it
people.
seem balanced in their
I
eyes.
can tell you the average person,
Which is crazy.
The average person who is in trouble could care less if you got out of the truck dressed like Ronald McDonald.
Yeah.
As long as you're going to provide them with some assistance or save their life,
Yep.
they could give a crap less
Yeah.
about what you do in your personal time.
And
I mean, let's get real here. It's becoming a. There's no reason. I can't see the reasoning for it. Like, if you want to join
Yeah.
the fire department, cool, man.
Yeah.
Do it.
No, I saw
Do
that
it for the right
in
reasons,
front of
though.
Congress. This guy became like the head fire department, basically like a liaison state head guy, right?
Yeah.
And he tried for I want to say the number was 11 years,
Mm.
but I can't remember the exact number. He tried, and they said come back in whatever this number of years was. It may have been 5, 6, something. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And he came back and tried, and got it. And he's escalated, that far. And he said, out of curiosity in the recruitment program, he asked the lady next to him, who happened to be a female that was not white, hey, how many times did you apply and when? She's like, I applied 6 months ago.
Sure.
And so I didn't know that was happening way back then.
Yeah.
Because we're talking at least 6 years from what I can recall.
mhm.
And I don't know, we're not,
Yeah.
we don't have a problem with that, but I think we do need to start having the real talk, because if we're having quality problems, who cares what race you are or what you're feeling
Oh, yeah.
like? I mean, we have some beliefs biblically, but on a status of what you said and to support what you're saying, dude, we don't care
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't.
what
really
you're
could care
about
less.
at home. Come and perform. But if you're unable to perform and you're being hired on that versus merit
Mhm.
and your capabilities, then no,
Oh, yeah.
we don't
It's-
want that. And actually what it's going to do is going to reverse. Once everyone's fed up, it's going to steamroll that whole process.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, if it
Like-
was actual equality, and
100%.
if it was just
Actual
that,
equality.
like real equality,
Yep.
things would be insanely better.
Yeah.
If you look at the state of America and as a whole, and the way the governments, corporations have been doing this real bad agenda, for the last 15
Crushing
years.
businesses.
Yeah.
15 years,
Crushing.
one of my managers said the same thing, tried for years but because
Think
of
it's been happening that long?
100%.
So like
Because of what
it's been a gradual.
it's been there.
Gradual, calculated.
Yes, it has
process.
been.
You know, if right now the state of America is not what it should be. If you look at other countries in the world,
No way, dude.
Like
No.
even just,
No.
God. No way, dude.
no way, no
Dude,
way.
I went to Aldi the other day, right?
Aldi
And
didn't have carts.
they were closing.
quarter.
They were closing in 28 minutes, and I was probably gonna use every bit of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't know they was closing 4:30. Dude,
He likes to
I
look
never
like
go.
he'll pick up stuff and he'll be like,
Old man. Yes.
oh man, when have you gone to the store with me? You should.
and
So
he doesn't buy it, dude. He looks at it for
Why
10
not?
minutes and doesn't buy it.
all right, don't tell them my secrets, man. You know.
God.
So
By
get
form.
roasted every time. So I'm going right, and there's this huffing and puffing going on by the staff,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, why is it so hostile? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And I realized they're closing. That's how I found out, right? And the guy starts closing the vegetable stuff like 11 minutes, 12 minutes before. Like the whole thing comes down and locks, right? And I'm standing there getting
Yeah.
vegetables, and I'm like, can I grab the stuff I need? And I said it kind of nice. And he's like, yeah. But I was like, when do you close? He's like, whatever, 11 minutes. And it stayed like that the whole way. And then when I like huffing and puffing, I put my stuff, sir, you can go ahead and put your stuff up. Like I was like, dude, this guy had a ton of stuff. There was really no room. And then she got confused if it was my stuff or the other person's stuff, right? And I was just like, what is happening, man? And I keep seeing that. And also I think COVID, not to tangent this, but I do think that COVID had some sort of effect with being interpersonal. So I don't want to blame only DEI, but I think that there's some weird human aspect. Like, why are we being so cold and direct with each other?
Oh, yeah.
now?
Well, yeah. COVID has
I don't
been very
understand.
weird. No, DEI is just something that has been happening for 10, 15 years where it really started to take effect. COVID changed the mentality of individuals in this weird health thing where COVID is the flu, is a worse flu.
Like, you can't
know,
get close to people, right?
I mean, yes. I mean, it is insane.
Which translates to interpersonal skills.
Yes. So during COVID, like there are a ton of coworkers, family, people, even today are still like freaked out over health issues or like coughing or this or that.
Yeah.
It's just a mind game. It's a very big mind game
I
that
mean,
was created
dude, like,
by the government.
There was a show that I used to actually watch with, with the old lady and
The old lady.
Oh,
Golden
I can't
Girls.
remember I can't remember the name
They
of
calling
it.
her old.
Dang it! What was the name of that show?
Dang, dude.
Anyway.
Sound like me trying to select some food at Food Line. Good
Anyway,
Lord.
but this show, dude. So it
lot of
was
calories
like
in that.
basically like the it's a story about like this family who's kind of like they have an adopted black son.
You're allowed to say that word.
And while I was
Okay.
trying to, and then like the rest of them are all by the parents, but they adopted this black kid, and they all grew up together. And he's like hyper successful, and the rest of the kids are like hyper successful, right? But the father, when they were younger, died in a fire. Okay, and but the father comes back to the one kid as like a ghost,
Oh,
right?
interesting.
And I was like, man, that's a good show. I don't really get into the sappy stuff, but I was like, oh, I'll watch
Yeah,
this,
sure.
right? So it had a
the feels.
it was just a story, right? And then COVID happens, and they just like down your throat with it, dude. And then like the same thing with like the whole.
Oh, you're saying it was just easing in.
It was like the George Floyd thing. They started
was
bringing
huge.
that to the show,
huge.
and then everything else is like, dude, I'm not watching this to watch the news. I'm
Yeah.
watching this to feel good.
A monument
I
after
care
a
less because they
criminal.
would do stuff
Yeah.
like, they would meet, like, hey, can we talk like at the cabin? And they would all drive out to like the family's cabin, and they would be like, they would be saying like from here to the wall over there, and they'd be like, oh, I tested negative, and they're like,
Gotcha.
you know what I mean? And then they still put masks on,
Yeah.
and they were just spoon feeding everybody this stuff. And that's
Fear,
where a lot
man.
of that
It's
comes
fear.
from.
It's fear that you will look a certain way because you're not accepting or inclusive. It's fear that you're going to contaminate someone with a disease or how that looks.
Well, we talked about this last time, how quick it is. Doesn't
It's
matter
fear.
what you do, dude.
Most
When
of
you
the
go into a operating room, they are spreading bacteria
100%.
some way,
That's how
somehow.
people used to die in the 1800s.
I mean, like, back then, dude, you know what they did back then? They didn't
they
have...
want to clean their hands.
They didn't freaking have
like
that stuff that knocks you out, the anesthesia.
Yeah.
They gave you a couple shots of whiskey, and they're like, hold on.
a piece of wood.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
dude, there's some opium in your
And
mouth.
they freaking start sawing
Chew
on that thing. You know?
Hobby. So, you know, kind of getting back to the fire thing, right? Like, what do we think are, and we're explaining that, what do we think are some things that happen that cause this? Because I know they arrested that illegal immigrant for
starting the fire.
Starting
There's
the fire.
already
Well, there's
been
one
his
bunch
name's
of looting.
Juan
Yeah.
Manuel
So,
Leyva, and that
let's,
was I'm trying to read the board. West Hills.
Yes.
He was in the West Hills area. He got arrested with a blowtorch.
Yes.
Well, I do want to say this though.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Before we get into that, I know we're talking about like the DEI stuff. We do want to give credit to the like all the firefighters that are actually working and helping. I saw a video of you know, some of the crews, and as the fire was coming towards the house, they went into the house to make sure that there was nobody there, but they were taking photo albums out of the house for these people without them knowing about that.
Solid.
So all the firefighters are doing great things. It just frustrates me when that's the only thing, like, you know, with the DEI stuff, like the Hot Shots, that movie Only the Brave with Josh Brolin about the 19 hot shots who died.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, you know, stuff like this is like a slap to those kind of guys.
Oh, it
You
is,
know what I mean?
100%.
Well,
Like,
I
it's
think
just-
that's why you have mass exoduses. I think
it's
the
gonna be
same
bad.
thing happened in law enforcement. You saw a ton of people leave, and you're going to continue to see this until they're supported. And actually, the Army as well.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
All the
I'll show you
service,
later,
all the
Everything
all the
service related is being attacked.
They're
Oh,
issuing
dude.
out NJPs
Yeah.
left and right for nothing,
Yeah.
dude.
Firefighters really are the only service not being fully attacked.
Yeah.
Is the only one, which is crazy to me.
Yeah.
But, you know, going back to what could have prevented this, you know, there's a lot of things.
Forestry maintenance number one.
100%. But, like, you know, the reservoirs, right, that we were talking about, some were empty. Well, a lot were empty in that area.
Yeah.
Some have been dry for 15 to 20 years.
Holy cow.
J.D. Vance did this big interview with
I saw that, yeah.
with one of the news stations, and basically said that, these have been empty for up to 20 years.
Post fire?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Up to 20 years.
Donald Trump talked about that with Rogan before this happened, about
yeah.
how they have no water, and he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "We can get water here tomorrow."
And they're by
easy.
the ocean, and I understand maybe that'll tear up some pumps.
Yeah,
But
I
at
could
that
care less
point,
about
dude-
pumps.
Oh, no, it's not
At
the
that
pumps.
point-
No, it's not the pumps.
So
It's the,
so why can't you just siphon it?
Because they were worried
nozzle and
about
siphon
the
it?
seals
Fish.
and that's what they excuse. Well, that and the fish, but like,
What?
well, let's be real here. Like, we're gonna worry about like a teeny minnow
yes.
versus hundreds of millions of dollars and lives, people
So-
dying over this.
so
stuff.
what-
Like,
Joe was mentioning. So it's like Gavin Newsom signed this bill with the Native Americans in California, or one of the states right
I
there,
got really frustrated and sidetracked, but yeah, he's gonna explain it to you.
basically saying that they wanted this fish protected. And if they opened up the reservoirs and did this full water purge or water added to the area, it would start to kill the fish in large.
Kill them.
Actually, yes.
Kill them.
So that he signed an executive
Fry
bill
'em.
basically not allowing them to fill these reservoirs, to allow
Because
the
of
water
the
in
fish,
because
yeah.
of this fish.
So okay, we're not astronauts, but we're not dumb, and we can also cognitively think.
Yes.
All right, outside the box. Gavin Newsom, you sent me the video. I think it was you. You sent us the video where Gavin Newsom is taking some sort of report call, and he's explaining how he talked to the governor of Hawaii about having a similar situation.
Yeah, where he's all jacked
Dude,
up.
he's like, his inflection of his voice, he's
Yeah.
like raspy, inflected, and he starts doing this weird, like, it's hard for me to do it because I'm not nervous, but like this while he's talking, right?
It's like almost like that.
You're-
My Ariana Grande shirt.
Yes.
And when you're in that amount of stress that your voice is I mean, this is a public speaker, a public figure in one of the largest states.
He's
So
been under high stress stuff before.
So why is
And
he
he's
so
been
stressed
totally-
talking
yeah.
about that? And what he said was, I just got off of the phone with the governor of Hawaii, and because they had a similar situation, and they have people who are have contracts who are trying to purchase some of this land, and we are moving forward quickly with that, where it's not even months, it's weeks.
I think he is trying to make this a positive thing to help people
Then why
who've
is he
lost
so nervous?
everything. Exactly. He was super nervous. He was like,
Who is he selling this stuff
Yeah.
to?
Then
And
there's
whose
even
land?
there's even talks about making into a zone B for apartments.
Well, there was also an area that was burned that was supposed to be the start of the smart city,
Yes.
which I'm not going
Yeah.
to go down that rabbit
What
hole.
about
Not
of
right now.
what about the
conspiracies, but
lithium thing?
And there's a lithium deposit now.
here's
It's like,
my whole
dude, there's
thing
some
with
crazy
lithium,
stuff
dude.
happening.
I will never, ever own an electric vehicle. It just doesn't fit my
Wow.
MO, right? Or how I drive.
Take
or
your
use
birthday
things,
present
right?
back then, huh?
The problem with it is too, the average person can't go out and buy a Tesla.
No.
Much less pay for the
No.
the charging station to be installed and this and that. They're perfectly happy with their 2004, Honda Civic that gets 32 miles to the gallon.
Well-
Why there's such a push for lithium, I have no clue, unless they're going to say, well, we have all this lithium, we've got all these batteries, start making the cars, we're going to start making it
Yeah.
illegal
But
for
it
you to have
wouldn't make
combustion
sense
engine
because
vehicles.
Trump has already said no.
Yeah.
That's trash. We're bouncing out. So I wonder, it could be more of an international grab. I don't
could
know. If
Well,
it's
going
it is
back to
real,
the
but I
electric
don't
side
know
of
if it's
it,
connected.
Elon Musk sent convoys of Cybertrucks to the fires with Starlink, and the firefighters are really happy because they've had no cell service.
And the whole thing
No
too,
internet.
though.
Oh, so they're just roaming around with portable
Yes.
hotspots or
That's
whatever
it.
similar.
So- There's nothing
My whole
else.
thing with that, though,
Yeah.
I don't care if you want an electric vehicle. I think they're.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is very cool. Me personally would never work. You want to do it? That's awesome. See why I like Elon Musk a lot because he's like, dude, you don't have to have
That's
one.
the power
We just
play.
want to offer it.
When you have something that you know is valuable, but
Yeah.
you don't act freaked out when someone says it's not.
I didn't
that
say
is-
it's not valuable,
right,
but
but
I'm.
That's what people are pushing is
Yeah.
that we don't like electric technology, and he doesn't combat it
no. He's. I get
because he knows he has a good product.
it. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
what
And
a
he's still
power
selling
play.
it, and
Oh,
he's
he's-
making it,
yeah,
and he's
he-
making a ton of money off of
Oh,
it. I don't.
he's
put
one of the
them
number of vehicles
down
in
in
the
the
world.
sense. I just don't want to be forced to do something.
Yeah.
that I don't
Yeah.
want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's everybody.
Yeah.
And if you're not,
Yeah.
You're going to
That's
go
weird.
hybrid.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
weird.
Well, we're
right?
traditionally a very we don't like to be governed.
Listen,
Yeah.
I want a
traditionally does.
diesel Mercedes. That's what I
I do. I want a,
like
what I
a
want.
old, like
I
a
want that
old diesel
Helix.
Yeah.
Mercedes, dude.
Hilux.
The solid
Oh, the
diesel.
Hilux? Yeah, dude.
Keep
Just
talking
keep
about
going.
that.
I think
So-
personally, I mean, as far as, well, I'm not gonna get into it. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say this isn't a conspiracy. This is just my take, and we've talked about it, right? I don't think that God really punishes people directly. That's just not the take I ever have. However, that
Lightning
what was that girl's name?
I know.
Nikki
Nikki Glazer.
Glazer, right? The
Is it
comedian.
Glazer or Glazer?
I don't know. She's glazed. So she's out there at the Golden Globes, right? Hollywood, okay? And she's speaking the day before this happens. And she's saying how the first thing she says is the acceptance speeches have been on fire, followed by the ranking structure of who's shout out, their mom or this person or whatever.
Yeah.
And at the very end, she says, God, in a really contentious way, the creator of the universe, 0. And she laughs, and most people laugh. I mean, belly laughing, right? And then she proceeds after a sentence or two to say, there's no hope for this godless town. And the next day, that town and many around it are the worst fire we've seen in our lifetime
Oh yeah,
and
this
our
is the
parents'
worst.
lifetime.
and it still is. It's
Mel
still
Gibson.
going on.
Did you see the interview Mel Gibson just did with Joe
that he
Rogan?
doesn't care. Oh, sorry. I thought you meant about his
House.
place getting burned down.
No, he. I mean, he gets on a tangent.
I saw some of it about the Pope. I'm working on watching the whole thing. He's an interesting guy.
Mel
I
Gibson.
didn't know he was that serious.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't stand Hollywood.
I didn't know he was
only
that serious
did.
of a
I think he
believer.
only did Expendables because certain
Friends.
it was a very specific production company who has similar beliefs to him because he was turning down movies left and right because of that. Like John Travolta. Side note, he almost
guy.
didn't shoot Be Cool because they didn't want him to smoke.
Yeah.
He was
'Cause
like, I won't do it then. They're like, your
Oh.
character doesn't smoke cigarettes. He's like, yeah, but I do. And he's like, yeah, but the character doesn't.
That
He's
guy's
like,
wild.
fine, I just won't. I mean, he's crazy,
Yeah.
but
That
yeah.
guy's wild, man.
He is.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not saying that God punishes, but I could totally see if you are making fun of the creator of the universe and using that language, and you just said has been on fire. I could totally see where the hand is lifted. Some people think that they're being punished. I don't know, but I definitely think I think God can remove that security bubble.
You know what's
for
crazy?
A lot of people.
In a lot of movies, they depict L.A. as hell.
Yeah.
You know, like even when they go
Escape
to hell,
LA,
it's like,
dude.
Yes.
Russell.
Yeah. Even to that
true.
movie, or
I
like
didn't
in
think about that.
some other movies where they journey to hell and L.A. is just on fire, you know,
Yeah.
like crazy stuff. L.A. never used to be that. It used to be like the crown jewel.
Have you ever seen videos
whatever.
of like California in the 50s and 60s and stuff,
man,
dude?
going around the coast
Yes.
and stuff?
Like-
Beautiful.
Like there's
Beautiful,
a game
dude.
called L.A. Noir.
Oh,
on X. You
dude,
probably played
yeah.
it. It's like perfect in
Yeah.
that setting. You just have fun. You played it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Haven't played
Doubt.
it.
Press X to doubt.
Oh, man.
You never heard that reference?
No.
Oh man, that's a
You'd
great
like
game.
it. You play
yeah.
as a detective.
You actually, it's a
and
great
you have
game.
to use deception and stuff. Yes, it's good. It's a
Even
good game.
better.
But looking at it,
What's it called?
L.A. Noir.
L.A. Noir.
Noir.
It is an awesome.
It's on, I think it's on Game Pass.
It's on Game Pass.
So are we all kind of on the same page here?
Oh, 100%. I
Like,
think that
It could be God saying, "Dude,
well,
you've asked for
if
it."
you mock God,
yeah,
you
God is
know,
not mocked.
that he's not in any religion, right? If you mock God, if it's in Christianity, Muslim,
which we'll talk about next episode.
yes, anywhere, yeah, there are consequences.
Yeah.
And this right here, I mean, this is
I
insane.
think every action has a consequence.
Yes.
There's a lot of biblical
And
terms
I don't know if
for
he's
that,
like,
yeah.
you know, launching lightning bolts from
not,
the sky
not
like
towards
Zeus.
the end, but we were talking about the angel of death, right?
Mhm.
And during the Passover in Egypt, right, the firstborn child. I don't believe that the angel. A lot of people say the angel of death was God's angel. I think it is a fallen angel that God
Released.
right,
Let
and
go.
that's why He said, "Put the blood over the doorpost as representative of Jesus' blood, and it cannot come through and touch your child." Right? That's permission. Why are you going to give permission to something that you're employing yourself? Right? You want it's already under your control fully, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I got goosebumps saying that. I wouldn't be surprised if it's that. Then they're so regulatory. They're pushing DEI. They're
what was it? They
a
cut.
safe house for illegal aliens. I mean, just
What was it? They cut $17 million from the firefighting
like
budget.
Holy
I thought it was
cow.
45 million.
It was
45?
well the last budget.
I could be wrong.
no. I
could be
mean, it's
reading
just
another-
crazy.
Yeah, the last budget cut was $20 million. Now, just for perspective, their budget every year is $800 million.
Yeah, it's a ton.
Oh my God.
Exactly. So for them not to be able to fight this fire,
Yeah.
have water in the hydrants, that's the most insane thing
That
to me.
is insane.
But
And you
20
have
million
people-
cut
I'm
by
sorry, go
the
ahead.
chief. Newsom was trying to do another $100 million cut, $110 million cut. They were trying to pass that during the fires.
But what are they cutting it for? Where is it going?
Well, they were trying to move
I tell
it
you, I saw one.
into the bank accounts
I
of
saw
these
one where they had
politicians.
allocated $14,000 for the gay men's
Okay.
choir. A bunch of other stuff like
Yeah.
that, like
Yeah.
just you know,
That's
voting
crazy.
and stuff like that. But anyway, it is crazy.
It is crazy. No,
Well, the mayor,
budget
wasn't
is-
she gone to another country?
Yes, the mayor was in Ghana, I think.
Yeah,
Ghana?
she was.
Ghana, yes.
Was
Something
it
like
Ghana?
Was in Ghana for.
Was
What does
Ghana.
that have to do with California?
I don't.
She
know.
was
That's what I
there
don't
for
understand.
Sure.
for a presidential
don't-
election.
You've probably seen it. You've never seen the movie The Aviator. He's in front of Congress, I think, or the senators, and they're grilling him about what happened to the money that the government gave him to create this plane that they needed, right? This is all true. And
Is this on Netflix?
The Aviator?
Yeah.
I don't know where it's streaming
I
at,
don't
but it's
know.
probably on like
All
Amazon
right.
Prime. Anyway, Howard Hughes starts grilling the senator about his trip to, I don't know, like Brazil or something. He's like, I have important business that, because he's the senator from Maine. He's
Mhm.
like, I've got important business that takes me all over the world. He goes, so many lobsters down there, that part of
Gotcha.
the world. You know what I mean? So
Stuff
like that,
Why
like, you
are
know,
our heads of our states outside of my department I used to work for had a problem, or at least they voiced a concern of, hey, look, we do have a highway that goes through our city, and you're allowed to work it, but the priority is inside the city. That's why we have highway patrol and all this, right? And I think at the time I was kind of like, but this, we got a lot of dangerous stuff coming through here. But I do get it.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not taking care of home base?
Yep. Yeah.
You're the city of this location, not the city of that highway.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what a selfish thing that they're doing by going to these places. Dude,
but it's not
you
just
need to be
her.
called upon your peers.
Yeah,
at
and
any
then,
point
it's not
available.
just her, dude. It's all
No,
over
it's small
on
towns.
both sides of the spectrum doing this, dude.
100%.
We have to go meet with so-and-so
Networking
in Indonesia. Like, what do you need to go there
Maybe they
for?
could, because they're going to pay for something to be, a
yeah.
plant here, whatever.
A call center.
Yeah.
There
So
just
many.
needs to be more accountability, and there's not. I mean, even in our small towns, there's not. And so, of course, amplify that. So we're just asking for accountability, I think.
Accountability, yes. One more thing
fairness.
Newsom did last year. We spoke about a little bit about the firefighters being let go or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He vetoed a bill that would let seasonal firefighters to help with staffing shortages in case of scenarios like this.
Like where they've retired?
Yes. He vetoed that bill fully last year,
just a lot
and
of,
they never
red
were
tape.
replaced.
Everywhere.
Yep.
Right? That's what you're thinking.
It's just...
Yeah.
I'll understand, like, even, like, trying to build something out there. Like, the amount of permit... Like, what's his name had to... Like, he wanted to build a pool. And they said, well, you can't just build a pool. Your pool needs to have an outer retainer to it. Basically, like a fuel tanker. Right? So, like, the pool and then another separate, basically, pool. Because their reasoning was, well, if that pool leaks, it's going to get into, like, the... water, like the aquifer and stuff like that. And he's like, okay, so instead of spending $150,000 on a pool, it cost him $600,000 to have this pool built. At that point I'd be like, you know what, we're getting
they're all about
an
stuff,
inflatable
dude.
pool.
Yeah.
You can't have all these engine things, and even like car and motorcycles. A lot of our California compliant, the weapons.
This kind of, I remember this kind of
They're
becoming
strict.
a big deal with, there's this dude I used to watch, Supercar Dave, is that his name?
Oh yeah.
Where he gets pulled over in California, but he's got Canada
You're talking
tags on it.
about daily driven exotics.
That's right. Yeah, where he gets.
They're jerks lately, man.
Yeah,
I'm not
are.
feeling them, but yeah.
Anyway, so he gets pulled over, and they're like checking how loud his exhaust is, and doing this, and then they still write him a ticket. And he's like, "But the car's registered in Canada." Which is like the same thing if you get pulled over
Window
in a
tint.
specific county.
Yep.
Just because you live in another county or another state that might not be that strict on it, you're still...
You're liable for the jurisdiction you
Yes.
go through.
Right.
Technically, yeah.
But
Come on.
it's a Lamborghini.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, is this one of these expensive ones? He's like, nah, it's a Huracan.
Yeah, that's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
It's just the
Which
new
is
one.
a very
Yeah.
Like 240 and up.
D-bag thing to say.
4.
It's
Yeah, with inflation.
dude, I don't know, man. I think I don't wish that this happened. We're not saying that.
No,
I don't think
man, it's
anyone even
terrible.
implied that. I just think that that funny little interview where they're like, well, who started the fire? Why is this happening? And the guy's just like, they pull him off the street and he's like, all these gay people in LA. And I know that's dumb and super saturated, right? Or unsaturated. But if you break it down to kind of what we're talking about, maybe there was a little more truth to that. The DEI hires and prioritizing this godless town.
It is like hell. Right now it is like hell.
Yeah.
It's like you're entering it in.
You're ushering it into.
So
Yes, they're welcoming it.
Did you
Yes.
read about that thing too, where the insurance companies have kind of already started saying like, a lot of this ain't gonna get covered.
Oh yeah, they
Dude,
cut. No, what is it? I read a statistic a few nights ago. Only 20 to 30% of all houses were
Wait a
insured.
minute. Anthony,
Yeah.
you said cases.
No, I said it's statistics.
Sorry, man.
Statistics.
Anyway,
That's
I'm sorry.
right.
Go ahead.
Statistics.
It's
Over
syllables.
20 or 30% of all the damage is insured. Only.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard similar.
Over 70 to 80 or whatever around that is uninsured. We're talking about hundreds of billions gone.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
Hundreds of
all sorts
billions.
of stuff. Like, there's like when they labeled that a terrorist attack in Louisiana. I didn't want to. Anyway, in insurance, most policies, terrorist acts, nothing's covered.
Yep.
It's true.
Vital injury, nothing.
I can tell you
All
for
of
a
it,
fact
gone.
that there's a clause
100%.
in my policy
Yeah, I
personal
used
stuff.
to oversee policies and insurance, and it's terrorist attacks in almost every company.
Nope.
No go.
Yep.
Civil unrest? No.
Acts of Acts of God are covered, but there was another one too that was very, very strange to me.
There's war.
War's not covered. Which is like, what are you paying for then?
Well,
You
the
know?
terrorism thing, I don't think is fair,
I don't think that's fair either.
and the war maybe. I mean, at that point, who cares?
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah.
but you know, it's going to continue. I mean, this is we may have an. I don't know if we'll do another video. It's
I
up to
hope
you
the
guys, but
fire's
this
gonna
is
continue, but
this is just
yeah.
getting crazy, man.
This is getting crazy.
But it may be a wake up call. Like
it is.
California has just been so far left, regardless of region, and it's just falling off the map.
Oh yeah,
Now it's
this is what happens, right? I
Exactly.
mean, if you are
It is.
seeing the consequences of years of
decisions.
actions, of decisions
100%.
being made.
Well, I mean, not even so much. Let's just not even reference like the biblical stuff for a second.
Oh, no,
but
this
the
is
actual stuff, the policies, like the not
this
clearing
is just
of the
decisions.
deadfall, the
Yes.
tons
no
of brush
water
everywhere.
in the basins. You
Yes.
know what I mean?
Hiring
Like,
based on
I mean, this
allocating
is just
funds to other
personality,
parts
right?
when this is a time bomb.
Yes.
And you have a guy going on the largest podcast on the planet saying that.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
don't take note.
no.
That's
Dude,
crazy,
listen,
dude.
it's a like the California redwoods, man. You know,
Mhm.
like it's a that's like one of the only maintained state parks that because it's so popular.
That's
right?
it. Yeah,
Like,
only one.
everything else, though, acres past that, they're not. They just
There's
don't
nothing.
care.
I've been
you
seeing
know?
footage of it. It's like they're just piling dead things on top of dead things. They don't
Because
clear.
one, they're not giving them the money to go in there with a skid steer, bulldozer.
Oh, they're not doing
like,
that.
once every couple months and clear stuff
There are
out.
some groups saying, "Oh, well, if you clear all this, there'll be mudslides." I could care less about a mudslide in a mountain that I'm not living on.
Well, what's the country that Trump went to when they have like these? It's a ton of forests, and I don't want to say it's Poland, but it might be. It might be Poland. Anyway,
Germany has a ton of- I mean,
it
they all
doesn't
do.
matter. He went to a country that's got a very dense forest, and he's like, "Well, we don't get like this president of whatever this country is like, we don't get forest fires like you guys do." He's like, "Because we maintain our forests."
Yeah. He did say that. I don't remember who that was. I don't
You know what I'm
remember.
talking about, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they, even the army, it's the army. No offense, but you don't always employ the most intelligent people. And I mean, it's true. The ASVAB
Yeah.
score can be pretty low, and you're still in.
Mm-hmm.
They scorch, dude. We have sand places in between to stop. They're called fire stops.
Yeah.
They look like just fun off-road places. There are things that could be done, regardless of the terrain, regardless of how hard it is. But it's going to take initiative. It's going to take backing. It's going to take competent people that are actually placed in charge versus scrolling on Facebook wondering if I'm going to be represented well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we need. All right. That was my little rant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think,
And God back in our country, or
Yes.
this will continue.
Oh,
I
yeah.
fully
100%.
promise you that, man. I promise you.
Yeah.
Mark my words. This,
Yes,
you
it's
mock
just-
God. Don't
your
expect
state
him
gets
to show
burnt
up, homie.
down.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, this
Ferris
is
wheel's gone.
this is insane. Yeah, exactly.
Or
No, this
maybe
is
more of like a hey.
this is just decisions, incorrect decisions they made.
Yeah.
Every level of leadership for the last 10, 20 years, and this is what happens,
Just
right?
building up.
The amount of people that are leaving California now are in
Well,
the
I mean, a lot of
hundreds of
people are-
thousands.
Dude,
A lot of
Musk
people-
left. Rogan left.
Oh, all the main companies are leaving after this.
All of these people that have lost their houses are going to get the boot by the insurance company, and they're going to go live in another state.
Oh, 100%.
We're already talking about a couple thousand people right there.
Oh, no.
You know, what I mean?
20,000 homes burned.
Buy
Yeah.
homes
That's
in North
one
Carolina,
area.
rent them
Yeah.
out to California people. Yeah,
Honest, yeah, well, yes.
Yeah.
make some money. Everyone's happy.
Even,
$5,000 a month
just
for
you have to
1,000
think,
square feet.
and
They have
Biden,
fire insurance.
Biden saying that he's going to 100% fully fund this, but he didn't
Yeah.
fund anything else.
And then he
Hawaii,
cracks jokes about.
Carolina didn't,
Yeah.
but he's like this. We're going to 100% fund this. I'm like,
There is something else going on.
There
I
is.
don't know what it is,
there is.
Weird,
and I don't want to be conspiracy based, but there is something going on. But we also have a lot of contributors that stopped it from being able to be stopped in
Yes.
a timely manner. Period.
Oh,
Regardless
yes.
of how it started.
Yes, it doesn't matter. It was just, you need water to stop a fire.
Yeah.
And they didn't have it.
Mhm.
So
All right.
All right,
And
guys.
our hearts do go out to
Oh,
the
100%.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
victims there, especially
Yes.
the believers. I do trust that.
Losing homes
Can't
where
imagine.
there's like 100 years of family in one home.
Can't imagine.
That are just like family heirlooms.
Oh, exactly.
or
Like this is
Pets
like
that have been lost.
I would
so
like to know
much.
if we do have anyone in California who's listening that they saw an act of God protecting their property. Please drop that in.
That dude
Yeah.
with the sprinklers, man.
I saw that, and I also saw that one home, and he said it was a miracle, and he's praying to God. He's
Yeah.
an actor, but
How about the one American flag that made it through?
Oh yes.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways, let us know.
Yeah, we'd
Let
like
us
to know what has
Leave some
survived.
comments.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
All right,
Drop a like, subscribe.
please subscribe.
Till next time.
We'll see you.
Deuces.
Okay.
See you guys.
Stay safe. Bye.